You ever started something but just never got the result you hope for? Like, you start a diet but never lose the weight you want, or you tell yourself you're gonna get a six-pack, but somewhere along the line you lose motivation and you start gaining all the weight back and your six-pack starts fading away. How about telling yourself you're gonna get your love life under control? You start approaching more women and start going on more dates, but you end up just going home after the bars and masturbating yourself to sleep. The reality is, not obtaining your goals and not living the kind of life you want to live, it's depressing. It gets depressing. It makes people feel like shit. I know I've been there. But after reading several books, after having several amazing mentors in my life like Jim Miller, Michael Burnoff, and Joshua Pelletier, and as well as teaching hundreds of guys as a dating coach, I've come to realize that setting goals and actually obtaining your goals is a lot more straightforward than people believe. What people don't understand are a lot of the factors involved with setting the goal, with actually obtaining these goals. And the truth is, once you obtain these goals, you feel amazing. I know when I started getting my love life and my health under control, I just felt amazing. I had so much energy. I pursued life extraordinarily passionately. I took my work more seriously and I got more shit done. And it just felt great. The thing is, people lose motivation when they start to go after their goals, especially their long-term goals, when they don't realize what factors are in play. One of the first factors that people need to understand is your mentality. Now, there are implicit theorists and entity theorists. One has it completely wrong. One is a belief that should just get the fuck out of your brain. It's just, it's the belief that causes you to sink into a depression and hit rock bottom. The other one is a lot more realistic, and it's been proven over and over through the greatness of men and women throughout history. Implicit theorists believe that everything is static, that their life is this way and it can't be changed. They believe that they're not smart. They believe that they're not talented enough to get a job, and they believe they just can't lose weight. They just can't get that body because of genetics or whatever the reason is. The reality is that this form of thinking is poison. It's stupid. It's a fucking waste of time. It makes you feel like shit. It made me feel like shit when I believed in this garbage. So why the fuck would anybody continue believing this nonsense? In reality, people who know that greatness is inside of everybody, people who truly believe that if they worked hard enough and studied hard enough, they could become CEO and have an amazing job and be their own boss. They know if they put the work in, they could have an amazing love life, meet amazing women, and have fucking toe-curling, neighbor-waking-up, orgasmic sex. They know if their mindset was right and if they worked hard enough, they could have the body of a Greek god. All great men and women in history knew this. They weren't born geniuses like people believe. A lot of geniuses aren't really geniuses. They're just ridiculously hardworking. And it's the truth. A lot of people see guys like Connor and I, professional dating coaches, as as guys who are just amazing. We weren't always good with women. We used to suck with women. That's why we became dating coaches. Because we hated sucking with women so much. We hated settling. We hated not being able to approach the most beautiful woman in the bar or in the room. We hated, feeling like shit about our love lives. So we made a change, and we knew it was possible to change, and that's why we pursued it. Now, the next thing I want to talk about are the way people think when it comes to actually doing their goals. There are abstract thinkers and concrete thinkers. Concrete thinkers are a lot more organized, and they do things in a step-by-step manner. For example, when a concrete thinker is to, for example, let's say wash the dishes, they do it in a very organized sense. They wash the spoons first, they wash the cups second, they wash the plates and then the bowls, or whatever makes sense in their brain. However, abstract thinkers are a lot less organized, but they have the end result in mind, and it makes it easier for them to take that first step and jump right in. I'm an abstract thinker, and if I see a plate of dishes, I'm just going to start washing them with no game plan. My goal is for there to be no dishes in the sink, and I'm just going to start doing it. One isn't better than the other. One isn't the way you should do things. But they're both good, but they both have their flaws. They both have their advantages, and they both have their flaws. Concrete thinkers can become overwhelmed by the number of steps if the task is too large. I've seen this happen with a lot of guys who were concrete thinkers. They would see all the steps they have to take, they would freak out, and they would just, quit before they even start. Whereas abstract thinkers, and I know this has happened to me so many times, it's really fucking annoying. Abstract thinkers would jump right in. We wouldn't even think about it. We would have the end result in mind. We would have no game plan. Jump right in, just take the first step, and then next thing you know, we're stuck in a rut because we have no fucking clue what to do next because of a lack of planning. This has happened to me so many times, especially when it comes to work projects. I would I was like, oh, that's so fucking cool. I'll just jump right in and start doing it. Next thing I know, I'm staring at my computer like a moron because I have no idea what to do next. Right now I want to talk about the two kinds of goals that people traditionally go after: mastery goals and performance goals. When one sets a performance goal, they're just trying to get good at something. They want to be the best. I see this a lot in like high school, for example. When I took chemistry in high school, in New York City we have these tests called Regents exams that you take at the end of the year after taking a course. And to me, the entire class was based around passing this Regents exam. So all I did was memorize as much chemistry as I could to prepare me for this test, and I got an A- in it. A lot of people believed I was good in chemistry, but the reality is that if you asked me anything chemistry related, I would have no fucking clue how to answer it. Whereas when I was in high school, I memorized the periodic table like the back of my hand. Hell, if you asked me 6 months after I took that test, I couldn't tell you shit because I didn't give a fuck about chemistry. I was just doing it to pass the test. I just wanted to become the best at passing this chemistry test. The thing is with performance goals, if you don't actually reach your goals, it could be very demotivating and it could be really hard to move on. Mastery goals, on the other hand, you're just simply trying to get better at something. You're trying to get better day by day. When it comes to certain factors like your love life, your business life, and your health, then yeah, your goals should be mastery goals. You shouldn't care about being stronger than your best friend or your gym buddy. You shouldn't, if it's with your love life, you shouldn't care about getting laid more than your big brother or your wingman. If it's about your business, you shouldn't care about making more than your coworkers. It should be about being better than you were the day before. And guys who are true masters, true geniuses at their crafts, this is how they tackle their lives. They just set a goal, and all they concentrate on is getting better and better day by day. If you're pursuing something like I mentioned above, either your business life, your love life, or your fitness life, you have to ask yourself, am I learning more? Am I improving at a good pace? Am I getting better? And the big question, am I better than I was yesterday? The reality is, things go up and down. Your progress goes up and down. Your progress is never the same. One day you could be better than you were yesterday, and the only thing you have to keep in mind is, do I know more than I did yesterday? Am I better than I was yesterday? Now, if you truly want to be happy and you truly want to reach mastery in things that will make your life, give your life a lot more quality, you have to keep 4 things in mind when you're reaching these mastery goals. Now, I want to backtrack a little bit and talk a little bit about performance goals. Performance goals aren't necessarily bad. Wanting to be good at something, wanting to be better than somebody else at something could be good in certain lights. For example, if you're taking a college course that has nothing to do with your major, than being a little bit than being a little competitive and actually wanting to be better than the rest of your class. You know, it will help you actually get a better grade. If you're doing a task at work that you normally never do, and you just want to get good at it real quick, and you don't care about absorbing any of the information, then yeah, a performance goal is fine. However, in the long run, when you want to get good in business, when you want to have your ideal body and want to find your ideal lover, then you should view things as mastery goals. So now back to mastery goals. There are 4 things that you need to know that will help you achieve these mastery goals. First, you have to make sure what you're doing is difficult but realistically doable. It has to be difficult but realistic. Now, I can't emphasize this enough. I hear so many guys say things like, oh, if you approach 1,000 women, then you'll be good at approaching women. You'll be good at attracting women. The thing is, I know so many guys out there, and I've taught so many guys out there, where even approaching 10 women is fucking difficult. So, if you're one of those guys who isn't a night owl, who doesn't like going to bars and clubs, and I'm telling you to approach 50 women in a night, you're gonna freak out. You might possibly, I'm not saying you're going to, but you might possibly freak out and freeze up and not do anything. It's really demotivating, and it can make you feel like shit. So you have to figure out what's doable for you. Same with weight training, for example. If you want to get a bigger chest, and you have to go to the bench press. If 150 pounds is too light for you, then move on to 160 pounds. If 160 pounds is too light for you, then move up to 170 pounds. If 170 pounds is difficult and you feel yourself struggling at the end to do it, then that's the kind of weight you want to go for. If you move up to 225 pounds and you can't even do it, then that's too heavy. Same with any other goal. If approaching 25 women is just, drains all your energy and makes you feel like shit, then don't even do it. Aim lower. Aim for 20. As long as it's doable. As long as you barely get it done, then that's great. There's this bullshit concept that I absolutely hate. And people say this shit all the time. It really annoys the fuck out of me. It's called taking baby steps. It's absolute garbage. It's stupidity at its finest. A lot of people take baby steps and take forever to get good at something. And then they use the excuse of, oh, I'm a beginner, so it's okay. I don't care if you're a beginner. If it's fucking easy, then don't do it. Make it difficult for yourself. Give yourself a challenge. The truth is, when you have an emotional reaction to something, that's when change happens. If you barely get something done, you will feel accomplished. You will feel like a weight has been lifted off your shoulders, and you're going to want to do it again, and it's going to give you this confidence boost. So when you're setting goals, make sure your goals are difficult. Make sure they're not easy, and make sure they're not too difficult. The next thing I want to talk about is repetition. There is immense power in repetition. That being said, I'm going to repeat that. There is immense power in repetition. When I first met Connor, he thought I was really fucking witty. The reality was the lines he's heard me say were repeated over and over. I've used the same lines several times. And I learned this from one of my buddies who's a comedian. I'd go out with him and people would think he's hilarious, but after hanging out with him, long enough, I realized that he says his one-liners all the time. His witty comebacks aren't that witty, they're just rehearsed. The more you repeat things, the better, the more things get stuck into your subconscious mind, the easier it will be to execute when you actually go out and practice them. For example, if you have a hard time starting a conversation with a woman, practice a line in front of your mirror. Practice making eye contact. Go walk down the street and make eye contact with every single person. Smile at every single person you walk down the street with. Smile at 100 people. Make eye contact with 100 people. Stand in front of your mirror and say a line 100 times before you go out. A lot of people think that using lines is deceptive and cheesy. I don't think so. As long as the emotional connection is still there, as long as the genuine interest is still there, so what if you use a line to start a conversation? Next thing I want to talk about is something I learned from my mentor, Michael Burnoff. I can't give this guy enough credit. He's an amazing teacher, one of the best speakers I've ever heard. Michael Burnoff taught me something about setting goals. And rather than setting goals, he likes to skill set rather than goal set. The thing with skill setting is if you're learning a skill that could translate to other goals, it will make your life so much easier. For example, you're having trouble with women. Take an improv class. Get your speaking skills up. Getting your speaking skills up will give you more confidence to talk to more women. Not only will it give you more confidence to talk to more women, it will give you more confidence to talk to your coworkers. The more you talk to your coworkers, the friendlier you get, the more you're liked in the office. The more you're liked in the office, the easier it is to get a raise. You have more money, you're able to go out more, you're able to hire a personal trainer. Just setting a skill starts connecting all these dots in your life. Personally, I think improv is a great idea, and it translates to so many goals in your life. Getting your conversational skills up will make an immense difference, not only in your love life, not only would it be easier to pick up girls at a bar and get a girlfriend, but it will make working a lot easier. It'll make working with your coworkers a lot more enjoyable, and it will just roll over into other benefits. So start skill setting rather than goal setting. A lot of people do things like, oh, I'm going to talk to 100 girls tonight. That'll make me good with that'll make me good with women. Hey, if you've never talked to 10 girls in your life, there's 10 girls in one night, there's no way you're going to talk to 100 girls in one night. I mean, you might, but the chances are slim. If you go out and take an improv class and talking to people becomes easier, then yeah, that goal will be easier too. So start learning to build your skills. Start figuring out what your flaws are and start working on them. If you find out that you get stuck a lot in the middle of a conversation, then improv class or Toastmasters is great. If you feel like you take rejection hard, like you get rejected once and your night is ruined, then yeah, you probably need to figure out how to get your emotions in check and start meditating and start getting your emotional skills at a higher level. Now, the last thing I want to talk about, and this was like a big revelation for me. Personally, I used to be a fucking sore loser. I would lose in a video game and I'd fucking toss my controller across the room. There'd be times where I'd get rejected and I'd just want to go home and I'd take it personally. And that's such a shitty mentality to have. The truth is, winners, they use their failures to their advantage. There's a movie called The Rock with Nicolas Cage and fuck, I forgot his name. There's a movie with Nicolas Cage and Sean Connery called The Rock, and Sean Connery has this amazing line in it. He tells Nicolas Cage, well, first off, Nicolas Cage tells him, I'm going to try my best. And Sean Connery looks at him and he goes, your best? Losers always whine about their best. Winners go home and fuck the prom queen. This, in my opinion, is one of the best, funniest, and most powerful lines in any 90s movie, in any movie made in the 90s. Sean Connery makes such a magnificent point. It's the losers who cry and, whine about their failures. It's the losers who let their failures break them and make them quit and demotivate them. The truth is, if you're going after mastery goals, you will see your failures as an opportunity to grow. When I learned this, it was revolutionary to me. I stopped getting frustrated and I started using my failures to motivate myself and get better. To me, failures were just a lesson learned. They were bits of wisdom that I obtained through experience. And that's how winners see things. That's how some of my mentors see things, and that's how people become successful, because they don't let their failures break them. One of the richest guys in the world, Warren Buffett, actually has a quote saying he won't hire somebody unless they've failed a certain amount of times. I can't remember the exact number, but he says something like, unless you failed 10 times, unless you've had 10 failed businesses, then I won't hire you. And even Joshua Pelletier, one of my longtime mentors, has had several failed businesses before he had one successful one. And hey, his business now is fucking booming. He makes a shit ton of money with the Tao of Badass, and he has great products. That's how winners see things. If you're not using your failures to your advantage, you're doing it wrong. You're wasting your time. You're wasting time that could be, spent actually pursuing this goal. You're wasting your emotional effort. You're being depressed. It's stupid. It's retarded. You might as well just, if you're going to do that, you might as well just give up. But do you really want to give up? Or if you're actually serious about obtaining a goal, if you're actually serious about finding that perfect girlfriend, or being your own boss, or having an amazing body, then you're not gonna quit. You're gonna take it seriously. Like, you're gonna enjoy the ride, and you won't let your failures break you. The last point I want to make is about planning. There's a famous quote by Benjamin Franklin that goes, "By failing to prepare, you're preparing to fail." And I've been there. Like I said, I'm an abstract thinker, and when I don't plan out my goals, when I don't plan things out step by step, I tend to get lost and never truly finish the task at hand. However, with concrete thinkers, it's the opposite. They never start, because if the goal is too big, they tend to not start because they're afraid of what would happen. Here's a little trick. Here's a little hack in order to get your goals done. If you're an abstract thinker, now truly think. A lot of people, I've met a lot of guys who say they're both, but you always tend to lean to one side more than the other. So really think. In the past, have you failed to accomplish your goals because of a lack of planning, or because you never start? Think about it for a second. Are you the kind of person to really, pick up your room by first picking up the trash and then mopping the floor and then dusting everything off? Or do you just start picking things up randomly until the room is clean? Like, truly think about this for a minute. If you're an abstract thinker like me, before you start a goal, stop. Take a pen and a pad and write down every single thing you need to do and organize it. That way you have a game plan. That way, once you start and you get stuck, you know what to do next. If you're a concrete thinker, what you need to do is write down the end result. What are you gonna get? What are you gonna gain by achieving this? If you approach more girls, what's gonna happen? Are you gonna get a girlfriend? Are you gonna have amazing sex? You're gonna get a better love life? Whatever it is, write down all the end results and have it somewhere where you see it every day, and then start tackling things step by step. When you have the end result in mind at all times to motivate you, actually fulfilling these goals will be a lot easier. Alright guys, thank you for listening. Hope you enjoyed this video. Check out the other videos I'm going to be posting up. Cheers.